First of all, let me extend my heartiest gratitude to PHDCCI for organizing this wonderful event on a very, very important topic, that is sustainability and textile sector and all that. I'm particularly grateful to Rakesh ji and Shri Vijji, R.K. Vijji. So I know him already because being from the industry, so we usually have quite often interaction on different issues. I'll be coming, won't take much of your time, but I would like to discuss some of the very important issues here. And I would also like to congratulate each of our panelists here. They have given a very, very beautiful and wide covering, I would say, spectrum of sustainability innovations, particularly in textile sector. And Rajiv Gupta ji said that we are processing 50 lakh PET bottles every day, you said? Every day. So such kind of things which we are generally not aware, so we are also get informed while coming on these platforms. There are certain issues which have been raised by all the panelists, which I have taken the trouble to note down here. There are certain requests that the government should finance some R&D kind of things, and waste to wealth की बात कर रहे हैं, and particularly Vij Saab talked about inverter duty structure in GST measures. See, first of all, because many, I can see the young minds are here. See, whenever we think about a sector, textile sector is a one sector of a large spectrum of Indian economy. So whenever you think about one sector, my first suggestion is that think it as a system. Why I'm saying so? The very basic economics, which these days I don't know how much this is being taught in the universities. There is a very basic thing what we call input-output modeling. Input of one section of industry is a raw material for some other ones. What I'm trying to say, the entire economy is interlinked. Since on inverter duty structure has been a big issue for the entire textile industry, particularly in these times, without referring to, you understand what problems which we are facing these days as an economy. The reforms announced, next generation reforms announced on 3rd of September, if you look at them, that most of the inverter duty structures have government done away with, all of them, most of them. I would say more than 90% inverter duty structure issues have gone with one stroke of pen, on which are going to be implemented on 22nd of September of this month. But when we talk about PET and MEG, I think Vij Saab was referring about that their PET is taxed at 18% and fiber is taxed at 5%. That's what you are talking about. See what happens when you talk about this system, these all systems are integrated. I have got in last 2 months lot of representation from PET recycling, bottles, lot of representations, and each representation which lands on my desk, I go through that and try to understand their logic, that what they are trying to say. Now there are certain issues here. The issue is this, that though the fiber is made from PET bottles, right, but PET bottle as such is not the subject of textile ministry, right? Now, textile ministry, that PET bottles comes under two ministries, in fact, if we talk about petrochemical also, and there is a particularly, I would say, regulation passed in 2016, if I am not wrong, by the Ministry of Environment and Forest, which is on waste bottle management, right? So, that raw material is coming from the other sector, and when it is turned into into fiber, then it becomes the issue of, textile. And you'll be happy. Sometimes I get confused. In last 6 months or 1 month, I have read all the representations of entire industry. I didn't receive even a single representation from entire industry that we are being affected by PET and this MEG 18%, right? There was not a single representation. Because even before these GST reforms came, even before that inverted duty was there, because then fiber was at 12. Yarn was at 12. Right. So what I'm trying to say is this, that we must appreciate first of all the larger thing which government has done. And by one estimate, government is going to lose about 40 lakh crores by way of these GST reductions, coming from 3 to 4 slabs now only to 2 largely. 28 has gone, now it's 18 and 5, largely 5. And what they call sin products or highly luxurious items, there is a 40%, or health hazardous like tobacco and all those, there is a 40%. So one aspect while thinking about one system is that we should look at the economy as a system. Okay, fine. We should also look at the particular sectors. Now there was another issue which we got the representation is on chemicals. That chemical services and all those, they are not covered, right? And then we should also reduce the taxes on machinery as well. Now this is very interesting. Machineries are in textiles sector, they are for different kinds of machinery, but steel is not in the sector now. Now look at the system, the way steel is, how much GST there is on steel. And suppose we reduce on, I'm talking about now hypothetically, if we reduce on machine, then again there will be inverted duty structure. You are getting my point? Because GST tax is higher on steel, and if it goes down on machine, then again the same problem. So what I'm trying to, there are certain things which are inevitable. Right. But the important is larger picture, that you look at the textile sector as a whole, the 90% of your problems are gone. And there may be certain procedural issues like simplification has been done and all those. These issues are maybe there. But I am 100% sure with the cooperation and feedback of industry, we are very actively connected with the industry. Those things will also be sorted out over a period of time. So that was the first point which I wanted to speak on. Now comes about R&D, one of the main issues that government should support research projects and all that. Only last week I was in Mumbai and I visited 3 textile research associations. One is Sasmira, one is Bombay Textile Research Association, and one is Wool Research Association. These are the 3 ones, they are all in Mumbai. And I visited all their labs, and after that I was actually also felt sick because we are going in the lab, coming and all. We are already funding them, I think, for last 70 years or so. We are funding their research in a big way. And even we are providing them administrative expenses, the salaries of those, though they are private. Let me tell you that they are now factually, they are today private association. Their chairmen are not government people. They are from the industry people. You will find somewhere somebody from Aditya Birla Group or someone from Reliance or some other smaller also. They are there. Not a single representative of government is there, but still government has been consistently funding their research. And let me tell you, like Bombay Textile Research, we have given them a particular project under NTTM scheme, which some must be knowing, which is 150 crore. We have given only to, we have, when I say we, I mean ministry, the government has given 150 CR to execute different projects through NTTM scheme to 1 textile research associations. And in totality there are about 8 such research associations, and they are not means very new, they are quite old. Most of them are 70 or 60 years old. And every month or every quarterly, I would say, government is supporting them, no doubt. Coming towards sustainability and innovation in textile sector. Here again, when I look at innovation and sustainability, I look at a larger perspective. As Bagmar is doing wonderful job, RSWM is doing wonderful job, what I could see from the representations. Other than, let me tell you, I just forgot to wear that jacket. That jacket is totally made of from the fiber of the Sept bottles, and they are not produced by any private sector. They are produced by the Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Because earlier I was in Ministry of Petroleum, so they have given those jackets to all in one. Right. So, अगर मैं वो पहन के आता, that would be looking finer than this, and you won't be even feeling for a second that this is that jacket is of low quality or is not looking good. So what the point is that government is very much aware about these things, and we are already using the PET bottles and waste management and all those things, not only in textile sector, but also in other sectors. If I start giving you the kind of work which has been done in last, I would say 10 to 12 years, it's astounding. The only thing that we should know a little bit more figures. I'm not throwing much data to you, but for example, 6 years ago, I'm talking about the now petroleum sector a little, because petroleum provides byproduct to us now. The petroleum is giving the raw material to textile sector. The petroleum refineries are equally important for us. So 6 years ago, our energy mix, consumption mix was entirely different. Just think about 10 years ago, how many people sitting here had a LPG connection at their home? How many people had a pipeline? Very few. But today, almost entire country or major cities are covered. This has happened approximately in last 7 to 8 years. Right. And let me throw one more data. In last 6 years, I think this policy started somewhere in May 2016, if I'm not wrong. Yes, yeah. Somewhere in 16. Government has provided approximately 11 crore LPG cylinders to the weaker sections of the society. When we say 11 crore connections, I'm talking about the new connections with chula and all those things, right? Because we are talking about sustainability as a whole. And when we talk about, see the population of India, 145 crore, and 11 crore looks very small. But if you multiply 11 by 5, because average size of taken is 5 now, that this becomes 55 crore. And 55 crore is double than the entire population of USA. And it is double than the entire population almost, if I'm not wrong again, European Union. This is the scale of work done. Because sometimes you need to put the things in perspective. Again, coming back to textile sector. Textile sector, quite often we tend to ignore that our larger share of employment after agriculture comes from textile sector, and that comes from handlooms, handicrafts, and largely micro industries, largely. And most of them are situated in the far-flung area of the country. So there are different kind of challenges. So I would request Mr. Dr. Pankaj. I would request Dr. Pankaj that kindly think about some project for the Northeast India. There is a lot of work to be done there. When we are talking about, see, it's very easy. I don't want to say certain harsh things, but we quite often India gets lectures from here and there, but they don't look inside. Who are the big polluters? What exactly they are doing? You are all concentrated. All the examples which you are given me, most of them are in Africa. What about India? What are you doing in India? And what are you particularly doing in the far-flung area of India? Do something in Northeast. Northeast requires you those handlooms, I don't know if you happen to go to Assam or say some north, if you look at these sarees, what they call monga, something like that. Huh? Monga. It's so excellent. It's so excellent. I'm talking about sari. Being a man, I'm talking about sari. It's so excellent that even best of the power loom or sari भी जो होगी ना, आप कहेंगे क्या है इसके सामने. And those people are literally made by hand, by their sweat and blood. Right? So we must try to promote these people. See, ultimately, we are the consumers. So I'm just putting across to you that we should not forget the people who are living in villages and far-flung areas of the country. Let me come to another problem. I'll give you another perspective. About 60 to 70% of the credit which goes from the Indian banks, commercial private banks, that goes to the 3 cities of the country. Only 3 cities. About 60 to 70% of credit. I'm talking about loans and all those. Which are these cities? One is Mumbai. One is, I think, Surat, if I'm not wrong. And probably Ahmedabad also. Maybe I'm missing one, but there are only 3 cities of the country. Rest entire textiles industry of the country is receiving only 30% of the credit. So what I'm trying to say, credit crunch is a big issue.